longsword build we're going to cover today is very aggressive, has high damage, and best of all, it's super consistent, thanks to a brand new attack string in Monster Hunter Wilds. It is dubbed the Crimson Slash, and you'll unlock this attack string when you amp your longsword all the way up to the Red Spirit level. Not only are these slashes quite fast, they also pack a bit of a punch. We're going to focus on getting to that rate gauge ASAP, and then shifting that to an unrelenting barrage of attacks. While this set focuses on the longsword, I can see it being pretty good with Switch Axe, Sword and Shield, and maybe even Charge Blade as well. Granted, you swap out the Quick Sheath for something that might make more sense with your weapon. For example, with Charge Blade, maybe Load Artillery may be better. To achieve this, we'll be utilizing one of the best skills for fast-hitting weapons in Burst, and pairing that up with High Affinity from two other sources that we'll be talking about very soon. At level 5, Burst increases the longsword's raw damage by 60 and elemental damage by 140. That is a staggeringly high amount for how easy it is to achieve Burst's trigger condition with longsword. Since this armor set includes two pieces of the Odagaron armor, namely the helmet and the gloves, we gain access to the 2-piece bonus of the Ebony Odagaron's armor set called Burst Boost 1. Even though the skill description says you get +3 attack when Burst is active, I double checked. And based on my testing, you actually get 10 attack. At least for level 5 Burst for whatever reason. This is a pretty great amount for a 2 pieces of armor set investment, especially if that 2 piece of armor gets you 3 levels in Burst. The other armor pieces are as follows. For the chest piece, we're using the Arkveld Beta for the 1 point of weakness exploit and 2 level 3 decoration slots. For the waist, we're going to be equipping the Arkveld Beta set. Not only does it give 2 levels in weakness exploit, it also gives us 2 level 1 decoration slots, and since we have 2 pieces of the Arkveld armor set, Arkveld's hunger activates. Whenever we continually attack a monster, we get some health back every now and again. While this is not essential to the build, it does make for a much more comfortable playstyle, as any chip or stray damage that you take while you are barraging your victims with an onslaught of Crimson Slashes, this armor set bonus will keep you topped up, and thanks to the Odagaron gloves, we also get 1 point of Divine Blessing, both of which in combination will keep you from getting one-shotted as you are under attack. And for the last piece, we're going to be using the Udra Miregraves Beta, which gives us 1 point in Burst and 1 point in Windproof. Windproof doesn't really do much, but getting that 4th level of Burst is really nice, plus there's a level 3 slot and a level 1 slot. The level 3 slot's going to be used to top up Burst to level 5, and then for the level 1 slot, we use whatever we need to for the weapon of our choice. For our talisman choice, we're going to be using the level 2 Weakness Exploit Charm to bring our Weakness Exploit up to level 5. At level 5, Weakness Exploit grants a invisible 30% affinity whenever we are hitting a weak point, which is what we want to do anyways. A bonus 20% affinity is added if we are hitting a wound. In the optimal situation, this skill alone is granting us 50% affinity, which is pretty massive. This armor setup gives us 2 3-slot decorations, 2 2-slot decorations, and 3 1-slot decorations. This is a perfect number for longswords, as we can fill up those 3 1-slot decorations with Quick Sheath, granting us more safety thanks to the ease of access to Ea's Spirit Slash. The next 2 skills that we're going to be slotting in will depend on your preference. The first is Maximum Might. At level 3, this skill grants us 30% affinity as long as our stamina is full. Having full stamina is actually not that hard to do with longsword as long as you are using focus mode correctly, as you are moving a lot while you're slashing. Next up is going to be Agitator. Whenever the monster is angry, we're going to get a certain amount of attack and affinity. At level 2, you can get attack +8 and affinity +5. Because of our slot limit, we can either go level 2 Maximum Might and level 2 Agitator, or level 3 Maximum Might and level 1 Agitator. The trade-off mathematically, if a monster is angry, is 33% crit plus 4 attack, or 25% crit and 8 attack. Whatever you choose will come down to your playstyle, as this build doesn't really care what weapon you use. But do note that if you want 100% crit, you'll be able to achieve this, but only with level 3 Maximum Might and a 20% affinity weapon like an Artian Longsword. But realistically, because you won't be hitting wounds all the time, you're going to be sitting at 83% crit for most of your attack with level 3 Maximum Might, or 75% with level 2 Agitator. The choice really is up to preference. I personally prefer Maximum Might for one reason and one reason only. Agitator is nice for giving you raw, and will probably be better for the min-max folks, but Maximum Might is something that is a bit more consistent. You can control your stamina usage, but you cannot control when the monster is angry or not, unless you train for a specific fight and know exactly how much damage you need to do to trigger those anger points. Now, if we add in the Corrupted Mantle, we can get to 100% without level 3 Maximum Might. For what it's worth, this armor set is actually really easy to build, as some of the best parts come from the Ebony Odagaron, something you get access to pretty early on in high rank. Before we continue on to the weapons, support your boy by hitting that like button and subscribe for more Monster Hunter Wilds content. Thanks. Also, if you're looking for people to play with, join my public squad with the code on screen or in the description below. To note, this build is designed so you can slot in any weapon you want. As mentioned earlier, if you do have a 20% affinity weapon like an Artian weapon, you will be able to get 100% crit. With how fast and consistent the damage of Crimson Slash is, 80% crit is totally fine too. That's like a 4 in 5 chances to get a crit. It's not that bad. With that said, these are some of the weapon skills that I would highly recommend that goes well with this build. First up is critical damage boost. At level 3, your critical hit damage is now increased to 34%, and at level 5, this goes up to 40%. While 6% is pretty significant, especially if you're going the 100% crit route, if your weapon has an abundance of 3-slot decos, use that for something else. For example, the level 3 element boost of your choice gives your element's attack a staggering boost of plus 60 of that element and then 20% additional element of whatever you have on top of that. And then we top it off with something like critical element, which makes it so elemental damage is now affected by affinity hits. If you got really lucky with decos and have a level 3 element boost paired up with a level 1 critical element, you are truly blessed because this build, even if it's level 1, being able to crit off your element is amazing. You don't need level 3 at all, it just helps you deal more damage. So if you do have something like that, something crazy where you can get any of the other skills plus 1 crit element, maybe Handicraft, Razor Sharp, or even Power Prolonger might be a better choice. All 3 of those skills help you maintain your damage output while in your Red Spirit gauge. But of course, it does this in different ways. Handicraft and Razor Sharp just makes it so you have to sharpen less. This translates to more consistent damage output for a period of time because you don't have to stop. While Power Prolonger just keeps you in your Red Spirit gauge longer, allowing you to vomit out more Crimson Slashes. Focus is also a great skill, but compared to Power Prolonger, I think Power Prolonger is better. As you become more skilled with the Longsword, you can pretty easily abuse Ea's Spirit Slash and the Focus Strike to amp up to the Red Spirit gauge. Once again, this build is designed around using any weapon you want. If you don't have the perfect set of decorations right now, don't worry, it's still a very good build without any of those skills. Those skills just make it way better. The nice thing about all this is that a 3-slot deco for element boost seems pretty common, and in this base version of Wilds, element's attack feels so much stronger than raw. This could stem from easier access to high crit elements and the element boost jewels, or the lack of non-element support. And there you have it, a highly aggressive longsword build that will shred everything it touches. If there are any other equipment skills that you think pair really well with the longsword, let us know in the comments below. For an equally aggressive build focused around the dual blades, check out this video on screen right now. My name is Varsona, and I'll see you in the next video.